Okay.
Rush, go, rush.
Yeah.
Well, now I have to leave that in, right? Like, I can't not use that.
I love that song. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a good theme.
Okay, yeah. No, this is gonna be the, like, fucking cadence of most of this conversation. You're gonna go like, I like this thing about it. And I'm gonna be like, I hate it.
I'm indifferent to it.
Oh, God.
We always need a devil advocate.
Well, I mean, I can definitely fucking do that.
You can have different opinions on the internet, people.
Especially, like, about, it's an anime. I love anime.
Children's
but, like,
card games, yeah.
Yeah, like, you can just like the thing or not like the thing, but whatever. Yeah, so, hi, this is a weird thing for my channel, but it's on my channel this time.
Mm-hmm.
If you have been paying attention to my previous uploads, then you'll know that I have done a little talk podcast-esque thing with Tyrone. Say hi, Tyrone.
Hello, everybody. TyroneTheGod3 here.
And Natalie.
Hi.
In the past, one of which never existed after production, unfortunately, but one of which went up, right? Yeah.
We got some,
right here.
Yeah, we got the vids up.
Okay.
So we're good.
But yeah. So some fucking stuff happened in Yugioh 7s. We're about 30 episodes in?
Yes.
Yeah, we're exactly 30 episodes in.
Oh, exactly 30. Fancy. Would be 31 if they didn't skip a week.
Right.
But, yeah, like, according to the wiki, 2 character arcs have happened, but, like, it plot important wise, I would say the first, like, important arc has happened.
Yes.
And I certainly have some thoughts about it, so I thought, why not talk to the good old friends Tyrone and Natalie and see what they thought, because there could be a bit more positivity in the conversation that way, probably.
Hey.
Yeah, no. So what have you two thought so far? How you feeling about Yugioh 7s?
Natalie, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say, like, when
Okay,
we started watching it, like, first, 3 or 5 episodes, it was kind of like, okay, waiting for it to, like, pick up. And even, like, I would say once we were getting, like, 15, 20 episodes in, we were like, I feel like we were starting to dread it more when we had to watch it.
We were starting to get a little fatigued.
Yeah, we were a little, like, oh, okay, like, it's gonna be some weird shit again, and it's like, you know, because Tyrone and I, we'd kind of be like, oh, this is gonna become a thing, like, this is gonna happen, and it's like, that, like, wouldn't be carried through, like, it would just, like, be something that's dropped, or
feel like
comes
there's
back.
an episode where we literally, I feel like there was an episode where we literally said, oh, they're gonna tackle this next episode, and then they drop it and they move on as if nothing. I felt like we skipped an episode.
Right. So it's just like we're just getting to that point now where it's like, okay, we hit a stride for a little bit, but overall it's been a very intriguing series to keep up with.
Yeah.
It feels very episodic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I'm kind of deep in this kind of show of like buy our toys or like stuff very much made for children or whatever. And like Episodic is kind of the name of the game for most of that stuff. I don't know, Tyrone?
It went to a point where at the very beginning of this we were watching it ironically. We were watching it to like just to give us both something to do and poke fun at the damn show. And then it went from that to, okay, this is getting actually kind of good. Let's watch the next episode.
Yeah.
When did that change?
It got better, I want to say, around the concert arc.
Okay.
I think even for me, I don't think I was fully invested until we just finished up all the Neil stuff with like the whole Maximum Summon. That's where I was like, okay, this is like kind of cool, but... Yeah,
the Maximum Summon stuff was really good, though. I love that.
That is the one thing where I'll deviate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's just because at this point we had finally, like, seen some real, like, we had seen something we could actually take seriously. which wasn't fucking dishwasher man.
Oh
like,
yeah, he's my favorite, the dishwashing guy.
Every single fucking episode and like character is such a gimmick.
It is.
And like, so I have not been fond of almost the entire show.
Yeah.
The only episodes that I thought were like genuinely good were that final duel against Neil, where the maximum summon got introduced. But like leading up to that, it reminds me a lot of GX because
I was
like,
gonna say GX had its fair share of themed characters.
It did, but like it also knew how to do a serious episode from time to time.
Yeah. Like
it would be like, oh shit, we're gonna like raid the girls' dorm or whatever. Yeah. And then Alexis was like, oh, I can't believe you're being such a pervert, even though that wasn't what was happening. But then like an actual duel would happen that I think was 2 episodes long, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But like the actual duel, despite its context, was like serious.
Yeah.
You want to know what I think it is also? Is that at the end of the day, no matter how serious the plot gets for Sevens, their stakes are never near as high as any of the other Yu-Gi-Ohs, and that's GX 100%. Included.
Yeah.
Like, I think even GX had like okay, if you lose this duel, you'll get expelled. Like here, I think the largest stake that happens here is if you lose this duel, then the rush duel rules no longer exist, and y'all have to do like regular Konami rules. They're literally right. They're literally
They'll
dueling
go
to keep
back to the format I like
they're literally
way
dueling
more.
They're literally dueling to keep the TCG format intact.
I fucking feel like the show is mocking me for caring about the old stuff.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Like the entire fucking plot, at least early on, and it seems to be a recurring thing, is like all of the antagonists are like, this new way of dueling is dumb and I hate it. And
proceeds to duel using the new way.
Yeah, and then the fucking main characters are like, no, it's actually way better.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Kalice, you want to know what this is? This is the OK Boomers Yu-Gi-Oh series.
I mean, when you're right.
OK Boomer.
It like the one that like really stung, I guess, was that like weird cat character who came out of fucking nowhere.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, you have a cat deck, I guess, because every single character in Sevens, you can like listen to them talk for like a minute and be like, oh, okay, so
this is who you're
a dishwasher and you use a dishwashing deck.
Right.
I summoned Red Eyes Black Cat.
Oh. And like, okay, to be fair, I can't remember his name. The like King of Games or weird.
Yeah, the like underground guy. Otis? Was it Otis or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Natalie, you did
Otis.
way better than me remembering the name.
He did use both Blue Eyes and Red Eyes Black Dragon.
Yes.
But like this fucking cat comes out and it's just like, I got these cat monsters that are references to all the dragons.
I play Blue
Eyes
White
Cat. And like me and my friend I was watching with, Nick, were just like dying the whole time. But like it seems like there's just a constant through line in the whole thing of like, we don't care what you think about the... Okay. Another example of this. I think a more pertinent one because the normal versions of these monsters don't exist in any capacity.
Yeah.
The weird gimmick character who's like a 31-year-old
Mimi,
who dresses up in a fucking Super Sentai Power Rangers outfit sometimes. And then, like, her deck is about
like the 80s nightclub.
Middle-aged women?
Yeah.
It's like Mystic Elf, but she's like older now or some shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at these embarrassing party-going women who are too old to be out partying.
I believe Dan Kito, the Cure Master, is actually made a transition from guy to girl in that.
Yeah, it's the gold digger now or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that's like her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which eyebrow raise, but you know, good for her. Good for her.
Right.
But like, what? Okay. What is that for?
Right.
Who is that for?
It's for the old people who watched Yu-Gi-Oh before and didn't want to see.
But like, I feel like those cultural references that they're touching on were old at the time that Yu-Gi-Oh was coming out.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to know what I think is more ironic? Is like they keep doing all these callbacks to the older shows, but they're saying screw you to the older rules of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's so ironic.
Okay. Vrains. I can't not bring up other ones. Vrains had a new duel format too.
Yay.
It had fuck, I can't remember its name right now. But they would get on their fucking boogie boards and get onto the data waves and ride around on their hoverboards in the database. That's either a reference that you get or not, and I sound like a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
Whatever. They would still do the old style of duels though. And like they called them master duels, and it was like a big deal when one of the old style of duels would happen. And it was like, oh, this is like a neat twist on things. And like even 5Ds, when they were doing card games on motorcycles, would from time to time be like, no, we're doing like a normal duel.
One of the things I actually really liked is when Yusei does a standing duel instead of a speed duel, he actually switches decks. You can see that he goes in his deck box and switches to his standard deck.
Because, according to the rules in the show, there's like specific spells that you can only use.
Yeah, the speed spells,
Yeah, exactly. And like, when that show referenced old stuff, it was like, oh, someone went to like a junkyard in Domino City because like the like beat up shitty place to live is the old Domino City, and found like the old style like original Yu-Gi-Oh duel monsters, Battle City style, like standing across from each other. Actually, that would be the first arc, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Where they like went up and then there was the hologram field in between them, and it was like, oh shit, they're like hard referencing a thing from the old thing, and like it's acknowledging that those things happened, and it's like a neat little thing. Whereas this, it's like, so Mystic Elf is like 45 and she's boogieing, and she might be an alcoholic, we don't know. Okay. The biggest problem, like, I think every complaint I have with Sevens can be looped back to one thing ultimately. I feel like everything is treated as a joke.
Yeah.
I mean,
hard agree.
Yeah, it is.
I cannot remember where I initially heard this. I think it was in reference to discussions about like Disney knockoffs or something, or just like animated films in general. But I remember either reading or hearing someone say that one of the reasons that Disney movies are so successful and like resonate with people so much is that despite being like animated kids movies, anytime on like a plot beat where they could go for a joke or an emotional moment, they always go for the emotional moment.
Yeah.
And there's definitely comedy throughout it, and that helps you like the characters, but the emotional stuff is what makes it like really stick with people.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I could complain about Disney up and down for days, but I do think that that is, like, a big, important part of a lot of storytelling. And, like, even whether or not you like the comedic bits, there should be more than that. Especially because, like, this isn't just a thing that exists in a vacuum. It's a thing that is a follow-up to a long-running franchise.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you will compare it to the things that came before. Because it's called fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! And, like, okay, GX. That one, you mentioned that had stakes early on. And I mean, like, eventually in the plot of that, and to be fair, we are 30 episodes in on Sevens. Who knows where it will go, right?
Yeah.
But, like, eventually GX reached the point of, like, oh shit, if I lose this duel, I will fucking die.
Yeah.
Which is a very classical, like, oh no, a shadow game, my soul will be sent to the shadow realm kind of thing. Zexal is usually considered, like, the weirdest, like, jokiest one.
Yeah.
That one opens on, like, serious plot.
Yeah, doesn't Astral, I didn't watch a lot of Zexal, but doesn't Astral basically be like, yo, if you lose one duel, I'm out? Like,
one of
I
the
did.
important duels.
Yeah.
If
you lose any duels against the numbers, I'm out.
Exactly. And, like, the very first scene, shows Yuma in, like, a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And he's against, like, this weird, fucked up demonic door that's talking to him.
Yeah.
And it basically is, like, it does, like, I can fulfill your desires, but you have to give up that which is most valuable to you.
Right.
And it's, like, this very, like, weird, almost scary kind of scene. And then that, like, sets the tone for the main plot going forward.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of shenanigans, and he's got his, like, catchphrases, and he's very, like, high energy and whoa, but, like, it can reference back to that when things get serious as the actual basis, as opposed to just having comedy to rely on.
Yeah.
I genuinely, like, aside from the 2 episodes that I really, really like of the duel against Neil, I genuinely struggle to think of any moments that don't end in a punchline.
Yeah.
I mean, now, I think one of the things that Natalie and I did, I think at a certain point, and I think it's just because of the way we, unfortunately, there's a level of acceptance I think we both came to the show about, like, looking at it and realized, okay, it's not gonna wind up as like a grandpa got his soul taken by some insane one-eyed maniac. We had to accept it for what it was, unfortunately, and I think by the time
that was such a specific reference. Whatever could you be talking
about?
I
know, I think we had to we had to wind up, unfortunately, accepting how things were, and I think what our focus, I think, ended up, and I don't know if I can speak for Natalie. Obviously, she speaks for herself. But here's what I had. My focus started to shift towards the characters themselves, and like I was more focused on them as a unit rather than the stakes that they were under. Key example being, I remember during the concert saga, the whole problem wasn't the fact that they were dueling at a concert tournament style to see, you know, about the Rush Duel stuff. I think what it was about Romy. She had betrayed the group, which obviously that plot point grazes over once once that concert stuff.
She was hungry.
Yeah. Oh my god.
As Snickers has taught us, you're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah, the hangry mode. So when she finally eats and she settles down, the group accepts her back. They don't really loom on it, unfortunately. They don't really go over the whole "you betrayed us" situation.
Yeah, Luke stays on it for a little bit. But
Luke stays on it for a little bit, but unfortunately, Luke's not taken seriously.
Yeah.
It's so weird because like, there's an entire episode that's like dedicated to the fact that there's a rift between them.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of like comedic things going on in the background, but the like through line of that entire episode is Romin is like really bummed out that Rook or Luke, I'm gonna bounce between
yeah, we do too,
because the fucking subtitle, but like that he constantly references back to the fact that she's a traitor, and that like he can't trust her and blah 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 blah. So she spends the whole episode trying to learn to cook, because he likes food. Funnily enough, this is one of the few episodes that I actually thought was like kind of cute and fun, and that I actually enjoyed the comedy of. And it's also one of, I think it's the only episode that doesn't feature a duel.
Yeah.
In detail, at least. There's like a background duel that happens between two robots that actually winds up being a recurring plot element. Which is weird that we didn't actually get to see that duel, but whatever. But like, they go through the whole thing, and she winds up like being terrible at cooking, but apparently she's uniquely terrible in a way that he really likes. And everyone else is like, oh my god, don't eat that food, you'll die. And he's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever eaten. It's blue like my dragon. Oh my god.
Oh, the Sonic.
The Sonic curry.
What's wrong, son? You barely touched your Sonic the Hedgehog styled curry.
Oh gosh, what made it blue? Don't worry about it.
It's funny.
Well, like
it's funny because ha, girl can't cook.
They took it to such a like ridiculous extreme. Like this is obviously a very tropey, shredded thing in anime, but like I almost had to respect the fact that they like played it so straight that like she went through a list of ingredients that she used at one point, and someone's like, that is just gunpowder. What the fuck did you do? Where did you even find that?
It's not edible.
But like they get through that whole episode, and it's like, yeah, I like the food, thank you. But then that doesn't resolve that. Like, he still goes like, oh, you fucking traitor. You betrayed us, oh my god. Like, constantly going forward. And it, like, it just feels like there's no continuity, or that, like, the continuity doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's just because, like, unfortunately, they... and I'm not trying to bring Pokemon into it, but I know that...
Feel free.
The current series right now, Journeys, is like that, where they take a very episodic, like, they take a very episodic route towards the series, and I think they're doing this in this particular, like, time period because of the way things are going. I know they state, like, more people are on the go. Well, not now, obviously, but more people are on the... More people on the go, more people, the kids, you know, attention spans aren't as there as they used to be and stuff like that. So it's very, like, they want to try to keep it one episode at a time so people don't have to sit down and keep up with everything they missed on that. That's why you, weirdly enough, when 2-parter or 3-parter episodes of Sevens happens and Natalie and I are watching it, I'll do the last time.
Oh, yeah.
I always resent the idea that, like, kids media can't be, like...
Can't follow a story, right? Yeah, because we've grown up with narratives.
And even now, I'd argue, like, it's easier because you have more people binge watch things. Like, you don't have to wait weeks between episodes for some shows. Like, a lot of people have had luck making like deeper plot lines the way stuff is shown now. So
right. Hell, we had to sit through the damn Yugi versus Pegasus duel, and I think that was like 4 episodes long, wasn't it?
Oh, totally. The old show had
6
like 4 to
parters.
5
Yeah.
episode duels.
Yeah,
3 episodes seemed to be like the fucking standard.
I think
for
Yugi versus
Battle
Merrick was
City
4
chunk of the
episodes
show.
long too.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's just I think they feel like when it's narrative instead of episodic, it gives them a little bit more time to like jump to the next plot without having to worry about holding anyone's attention too long. But the problem you have there is that it feels like almost everything that's done is almost pointless. Like, we're so far in, and the only thing we've gained out of this is like a couple of reoccurring characters that I will admit surprised me. Like, I didn't think I'd see the sushi guy girl or the ramen guy again.
I couldn't remember any of the fucking characters.
Well, no, it's funny. Like, the sushi girl and the ramen guy actually have episodes where they duel. They're like active members of the cast for a while. Yeah. I don't care about them, but yeah, they're there. They're trying something. Which, like, I guess the comedy is a your mileage may vary kind of thing. Yeah. If you really think that the style of comedy they're putting out is fun, then I guess you'll probably have fun watching it most of the time. But, like, I just don't. I mean, I will admit there's a level where you have to, unfortunately for Sevens, I believe you have to turn some of your brain off. You can't, like, and that's a dumb thing to say. Like, it's like, oh, you have to turn your brain off to watch it. No, I like my brain, thank you. But, yeah, like, that's the only way I've been enjoying it since Sevens so far is that I'm watching Sevens. I'm not watching, like, Duel Monster series or 5Ds. I'm watching Sevens.
Yeah. I feel like that's most of the...
I'm watching Sevens, LOL.
Yeah, I think most of the enjoyment we get is just, like, like, watching it, like, together. Like, if I had to watch it myself, I'd be, like, so bored.
Oh, my God. I would
usually,
not
just poking fun or being, like, just how absurd it is sometimes.
I would fucking zone out.
I mean, there's something
not...
now. There's some charm where you see like when Rook is battling himself, and he's like, he loses life points, and he's like, that's pretty funny.
Was absolutely going to be one of the ones I brought up because that's like the only other episode that is not like plot important at all. That I was still sitting there like, oh, this is fun, actually. This is cute.
I will admit, out of all the ones, though, no Yu-Gi-Oh! Feels more sell your toys than this one. Like, you can definitely tell when the characters play a new card they've never played before or something. They even the spectators that are watching the current duel will go out of their way to be like, oh, that's that person's new ace monster? And then it's like, Phantom Dragon, the double attack gun. Like, it explains the effects and everything. I'm like, you're trying to sell this damn card, aren't you? I'm going to see this card at the end of the episode for sale as one of the damn...
It's our card corner.
Yeah, it's very obvious. It's painfully obvious which cards are for sale.
It reminds me of the Bakugan reboot. I might have brought this up.
I think you did in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion before.
I watched like a good 20 episodes of the Bakugan reboot, and it was like the same thing. But every like problem I'm complaining about here of just like every episode is its own thing. The main plot is barely referenced. It's threadbare. The fucking characters are all like constantly performing stand-up comedy. Which is, I hope, not a trend, but seems like it might be, which sucks because this kind of show that I like seems like it doesn't really exist anymore. Kept watching Shadowverse. That's not really good. That is like an old style Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, except they skip over chunks of duels and the plot is not great in my opinion. And I did a bit of research on Vanguard, didn't catch up because there's a lot, and But apparently the most recent Vanguard series is actually a magical girl show. And there's a character in it who's like, I'm going to play the card game because I'm good at the card game.
Yeah.
And like, I think he gets punched in the face and then made fun of.
Oh my God.
And so I'm just like, okay, so the card game show is dead. At least the one I want.
Mm-hmm.
On it being episodic, I think the craziest, like, they were actively jumping through hoops to make things like insular and like not carry over from episode to episode. When you get to the arc where we're going up against Neil, where he is like, I am an evil hacker man working for the evil company. The fact that they like go into his base or whatever, and then at the end of each episode, they get like spat out.
So you gotta go to bed.
Like, go do your homework and go to bed.
Get the fuck out of here, you're children, says the 11-year-old. Like, hello?
Yeah.
But like the one time where it was like, oh shit, we're getting stakes and like the plot is happening, and it's like, yeah, but like the plot's gonna wait over here while you go do like school or whatever the fuck you gotta do. Yeah. And it's just like, why would it have been so bad to have like a brief, like, last time on Yu-Gi-Oh, these fuckers walked into the basement of this restaurant and there's a supervillain down here, and then they dueled a cat, and then they went deeper into the basement.
Yeah.
Like, hello?
It definitely rips you from the tension. I will say that.
Yeah.
Like,
what?
It rips you away from the tension when you like, you're knee deep into this plot, and then he decides to kick everybody out and it's like, see you tomorrow.
Neil was the first character who I was like, okay. I kind of actively resent most of the cast at this point.
Yeah.
Just because like they've all kind of been super mean to their friends for no reason, despite the theme of the show being like, yeah, friendship. I think Yuga, like, in the last episode was like, I fight for smiles. And it's like, yeah, but like you also were a jerk to Kaizo for no reason.
'Cause fuck 'em.
But like, just by process of elimination, Yuga is kind of my favorite character. I thought Neil was going to become that, but then like throughout the episodes with him, there's like so many weird gimmicks in his secret underground base of just like, this is my chair. My chair is a dueling robot who is also a tutor and has a chair-based deck. And what the fuck?
There's a level of realism I respect about Neil, though. I like that the robot chair ends up losing the duel, and he's like, the robot chair's like, you're gonna throw me out, aren't you, Neil? And Neil's like, what? No, what are you talking about?
Yeah. He feels like a watered down Reiji from Arc 5.
Yeah.
Like he's got glasses on, he's like a very cerebral, logic-based type of person who seems to like, I'm thinking 8 moves ahead at all times. It's cool that he has like the Providence thing.
Yeah.
As a sort of thematic counter to Yuga's road. And it's something that can be referenced without it being a joke. Yeah. Like fucking Rook and his Dower.
Yeah.
Which is just road spelled backwards.
Oh, fuck.
It's just a never-ending well of complaints. I'm sorry.
They have all the materials for like really heavy stuff, but they never go full in. I remember the huge They did the concert thing, and the huge concert arc is literally made when the main villain of that arc goes, it's not fair that Yuga got to fucking see the road to become the king. Like that's the reason this is happening.
I don't want to.
How come he gets Seventh Road Magician and I don't? Seventh Roads is fake. like it's illegal. No, it's not that it's fake. It's illegal in duels. I'm like, then why did they make a Seven Roads Magician girl? Like, why did they
it
make
has support, my dude.
Why did they
like,
make a female card for an illegal card that's no longer in the game? And then they check the database, and then Odin, the king, is just like, oh, I made it legal at last minute, and I'm just like, I can't take any of this seriously at all. They spend literally an episode trying to find out the legality of this card.
And I think that's one of the only multi-episode duels.
Yeah,
maybe?
Yeah, it is.
I feel like that one starts.
Yeah,
him barely starts to go, and then they spend an entire episode going like, you can't play that card. Don't you fucking play it.
It wasn't even like, oh, don't play it. It was like, if you draw it, then it's over. Like, what?
Oh, okay. What do you two think of Rush Duels? Now that we've seen it for like 30 episodes.
It only bugs me because it's literally speed duels, and speed duels are just dueling duels. But there's obviously some changes to the rule. Like, you can play as many monsters as you want on the field. You can draw as many cards as you need to. It definitely is faster, but it also at the same time makes it feel like a lot of these duels are seeable, like, from start to finish. Now, granted, there have been a lot of duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that are like, oh, okay, I know what's gonna happen. This character's gonna win, or this character's gonna win. But these are very predictable. Oh, you brought Yuga down to 200 life points, and it's his turn? Well, say goodnight. Yeah. You're gonna lose. You're definitely gonna lose.
Me and my friend who I watch with refer to that as protagonist life points.
Yeah, protagonist.
Where it's just like, oh, it's time. He's gonna win next turn. Look out.
Like the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes, I mean, they were predictable too with theirs, but they even had situations where it was like, oh, okay, this person lost at like 1,500 life points. That's weird.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I feel like after watching it,
I think the most dramatic. Oh, go ahead.
Watching it for 30 episodes, like the Rush Duels themselves, it's like, it's hard. Like, it's so weird because there's that overarching plot which we talked about of like, oh, no one respects Rush Duels. We have to get the word out. But it's like, we've never really seen that as a problem yet. Like, literally every time they're like, yeah, I hate Rush Duels, but okay, I know how to do it anyway. And it's like, I just don't get that point of the plot still. Like, I don't get the conflict. But like the Rush Duels themselves, I wish we actually had a duel where somebody had conflicts with the Rush Duels. Yeah, it's just weird.
Because I remember when they changed to the Battle City rules, and remember Joey tried to play a level 5 monster without sacrificing first? He's like, you idiot, you need to sacrifice a monster. No, that was Esperoba. I'm sorry, Esperoba said that.
I feel like all the characters are just so fucking gimmicky. Like, they're one note. Whereas, whatever. Rush Duels. I think you really nailed it on the head, Tyrone, of just like every single episode, like just beat for beat, I feel like I am watching the same thing. Like it is so painfully predictable. And
it feels like they want to go so fast. They want to get through those duels so fast. They'll go through the trouble of making a duel happen for literally the most obscure reason. It's like, let's go to the newspaper company so we can get the Rush Duels out there. Oh, okay, yeah, we're not going to do that. Or we can if you duel. Let's... And then a Rush Duel happens. And then it happens so quickly, I'm like, oh, well, that ended.
The, like, Final Fantasy glass break happens.
Because what they have to do is they have to do the rising action and the falling action, but they have to fit those two. They have to sandwich the rising action and falling action as bread for the duel itself. So we wind up with these situations where beginning and end have to be super fast because the duel has to take providence.
I feel like, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, fits a multi-episode format more.
Yes.
And it definitely shines, like, overall, not just in Sevens, though Sevens does fit this. When duels are allowed to be, like, 2+ episodes long.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't fall into, like, a specific cadence of, like, well, we have 3 fucking minutes left. Yuga needs to win right now, and he's not gonna lose against a fucking dinosaur archaeologist. Like, hello? No. So, go, go, go. Oh, he did the thing. Look, he summoned Sevens Road. Somehow he got it back. That's crazy.
I will say, while I love the Maximum Duel, that him drawing the robots necessary was getting kind of stupid. Like, it was getting kind of stupid. Because it was also thanks to the fact that Neil had a trap answer for every damn thing. But that's Neil's character.
You know what? We can go into that. You want to talk about maximums?
Sure, go ahead.
Because that was, to me, like, it almost blindsided me, those 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Well,
that's because they
followed.
Look at that. Really they followed the old formula, though.
Whatever.
It's because they followed the old formula.
They did. It was a 2-episode duel, and it introduced a new type of summoning. And I, much for the same reasons that I like XYZ summons and like the way that the cards actually physically interact with each other, I fucking love maximum summons.
I do too.
That is such a strong gimmick of, like, for those of you who don't know, you have to summon 3 monsters at once, and the art on those 3 monsters, like the art on the actual cards, interacts with each other, and each of those 3 cards gives, like, a unique effect to this one super powerful monster. And the idea is that you get a really strong thing out, but it has to occupy your entire monster area. You know what, fuck it. I've been holding back from saying these goddamn names this whole time because I love these so much. So, Neil gets the first maximum summon in the show, which is a 3-headed plant dragon, which very much reminded me of, like, Biollante and King Ghidorah, which I have no idea if you two know Godzilla at all. But
I know a little bit.
And its name is Yugioh the Heavenly Emperor Dragon. It gets to, like, one, it has a bunch of crazy bullshit effects. I don't really know if we would get much out of discussing that. We can if either of you two want to. But, like, for me, at least, I was completely blindsided by another aspect of it, which is, 1, it's a new type of summon, and 2, like, it gets a real-ass summon chant. I wish I had that, like, tracked down right now. I should have thought of that beforehand. Maybe I'll get it while one of you two are talking. But, like,
I like the idea that maximum summon requires all of the monster slots in order to do it. So you get a strong monster.
Trade-off.
Yeah, you get a strong monster, but the trade-off is you can't play anything else.
And, like, you have to get 3 cards into your hand.
Yes.
And, like, that actually leans into the design of rush duels in a very interesting way.
It almost had, like, a Exodia type of, like, feel to it a little bit.
Yeah,
like
a bit.
Semi-Exodia situation.
But, like, the fact that you're drawing so many cards in rush duels, like, up to 5, I think, at the start.
You have to make sure you have 5 no matter what,
Yeah, so, like, you can burn through so many cards in a turn, and, like, they actually lean into that with the fact that you need all 3 in your hand, and also in the way that the duel between Neil and Yuga plays out. So yeah, big 3-headed plant dragon, and of course, Yuga also gets a maximum summon afterwards, which, oh gosh,
Hey, I want to turn my driver's license into a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Okay, that was goofy, but I liked it.
Oh,
I liked
really?
the idea.
Really
behind
now?
Okay. So what happens is the three like main friends, Rook, Gakuto, and Romin, are like, oh shit, Yuga got beaten by this big crazy plant dragon monster that Neil summoned. What the fuck is that? How do we help? Oh god. And so they like go and they duel Otis, and it's like a whole big thing. But what winds up happening is the gang comes up with this ability to put like their ID cards from their duel discs into Yuga's deck, and like that somehow, because Yuga is an inventor both of like robots and the fucking card game, I guess that means that he can turn those into these special maximum summon things. And for me, this reminded me of like the first stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Do you remember when they did the like friendship sign thing? Yeah. On the back of the hand, and like Taya drew the thing, and then like when it came to the climactic moment of his duel against Kaiba, he like recalled the friendship and used the power of friendship to draw exactly what he needed to draw and then win. That like it felt like that to me. And while I don't really like these characters, obviously this moment could have been better. It felt, I don't know, it felt like the first time that the characters were actually working together for something. Yes. As opposed to just standing around and doing a bit. And this fucking monster. Okay, I like mecha anime. I'm rather fond of like Gurren Lagann, for example. Yeah. Or, you know, Mazinger, Super Robots. I like Gundam too, but, you know, Super Robots are applicable for this. Because this monster's name is Super Magitek Deity Magnum Overroad. And its art is 3 smaller colored robots that is representative of Yuga's 3 friends, and they fucking fly together and then transform into another big robot that is behind them on the card art. Yes. And holy shit. I was so excited. This big dumb fight between this big dumb robot and this big dumb fucking tree dragon, on the big like climactic hit where Yuga actually wins and it looks like he cuts a fucking building in half.
We gotta pay for that.
I was fucking yelling. Like I literally the opening just yelled out. They do. And I don't like that opening, but I was still like, oh shit. Oh my god. Super Magitek Deity Magnum Overroad also gets like the summon chant to it. It also like the art connects in the same way. It has all the same things going on. But before I get too far away, Tyrone, you seemed not fond of at least some aspect of this. So,
I like the epicness of the end part. I just don't like the gimmicky like, I gotta get all 3. I didn't get all 3. Okay, I got all 3. No, you didn't. I got a trap card. Darn it, I don't have all 3. I gotta get all 3 again. Well, I played this card so I can try to get all 3. All right, do I have all 3? He's got all 3. Oh, good, he's got all 3. No, you don't. I played a trap card so you won't have all 3. Well, I gotta go. Looking at it now, as opposed to in the moment when it happened, gets very exhausting. But at the same time, I guess that's the idea because it's like that's how a regular duel would probably go, I guess. I mean, but there's a lot of conveniences for the sake of Yuga getting those cards.
That's fair. I personally really loved the like flow of that duel, because most of the duels in this are like very formulaic, like we talked about. And they follow like a very strict kind of thing of like, okay, Yuga or whoever, it's usually Yuga, but like our hero is going to like play a little bit and like do their thing. Then they will get shut down or like just otherwise blocked by whatever mechanic. And I mean, there are mechanics, but having seen all of Yu-Gi-Oh, almost all of them seem like very, very simple and toned down. But then the antagonist will do their thing.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to Yuga or whoever's turn again, and they will struggle to get through the thing on their turn. Then it'll go back to the antagonist. The antagonist will almost win, then it'll go back to the hero, and then the hero will win.
Yeah.
Whereas this time, I felt like both of the characters actually were employing, like, tactics. So, like, Neil had his thing of, like, trying to do anything he could to get, Magnum Overroad just off of the field and, like, back into his deck. Whereas Yuga then had to, like, stall.
Yeah.
And, like, work to get through as much of his deck as he could. And, like, it was the first duel in this show where, like, I was actually engaged the whole time, and I felt like I was watching an old episode of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think, something I'm interested in is, like, if we're gonna see other characters get maximum summons. Because that's my only thing is I like the whole, like, oh yeah, my friends come together so I can make this monster. But if that just ends up being, like, Yuga's thing, then that just kind of bothers me because it's like...
It can't even be Yuga's thing anymore. Their cards got turned back in IDs.
But it's...
No, yeah, it's gonna have to be a conscious decision to use the thing, which I think is important.
Yeah. I like that they do that so he can't cheese that in every duel, too.
Yeah, especially, like, if not everyone, and, like, so far, we've seen that not everyone gets this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In my opinion. That, like, they can't just, like, whip this out and be like, boom, I win. But I'm worried that the show as a whole will fall into a formula where it's like, oh no, there is a real antagonist. How do we know they are a real antagonist? Well, Yuga dueled them. They did a maximum summon. Then Yuga lost.
Yeah.
Then Yuga went to his friends, went, please give me your ID cards. Went back and then won.
That's why I'm nervous, because it's like, I don't want that message of it's like, oh, well, if his friends, like, sacrifice their whatevers, Yuga can win. It's like I want it to be more balanced, you know, among the friend group that something else happens, but I guess we'll see. So
yeah, I honestly, the episodes before that when Yuga actually lost, I don't know why I always like that episode. Something about it, I don't know. It like Kalice said before, it had an old school feeling to it. Something about it. Yuga's overwhelmed this time. He loses, but he loses in a way that felt very old school. Like he was facing an actual threat this time around.
Well, because the show doesn't treat maximum summons or Neil himself as a joke. There are things around Neil that are treated as a joke.
Of course.
There's his chair. There is the
bedtime
like
joke.
Weird village thing that he made that's just like complete fucking comedy the whole time.
Yeah.
But like his actual stuff where he's like monologuing about his providence and like the fact that he went and just fucked up most of Goha's upper echelon, like that is treated relatively seriously. And when it comes time for the actual duels against him, it's like, no, yeah, he's just serious. Yeah. He's just a good duelist, and he's going to do things seriously. Interesting side note, Neil's deck is Cybers, which is the, like, special thing from Vrains.
Yeah.
It obviously doesn't have the same plot implications, but, like, that would probably be the only time where they've gone like, look, it's the old thing, and for one reason or another I wasn't like rolling my eyes. Because even when they summoned like Blue Eyes and Red Eyes, when Otis did that, it's in like the new shitty 3D, and it just looks bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, do either of you have any more thoughts on Maximus?
I don't know. I mean that is.
Or Neil, you know, just
that
like
is the question though. Like, I'll be interested to see when it comes back, because like you said, it could easily be a, you know, oh, we whip this out once every 20-30 episodes for when it means business, and then, you know,
a Deus Ex Machina,
so,
It does seem interesting to see some older cards when they play them when they play them subtly, like when you just see them play. Like I saw Trap Hole played one time, and I was like, oh, I remember that card. Or
I think it was in Neil's deck.
Yeah, and I saw
he had Cyber's cards, and he had like a bunch of like Trap Hole-esque things.
Yeah, I saw Spark recently. I was like, oh, I remember some of these
That
cards.
was the last card Yuga played on the most recent episode.
Yeah, against the sister.
Yeah. I was so upset that Sparks got play. That is such a dumb point.
Because it's, I was gonna say, because out of all the, like, I think Attack Your Life Points cards, that one's, like, the weakest.
Absolutely. And just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. And then, let's see, what else? There was, I want to say, I really do like the end of that duel, too, where they get all the penalties, but that's only because Neil converted at last minute. Which is like a I respect your way of dueling situation. So I'm going to give you the last penalty, but at the same time, I'm wiping out all the penalties. I'm going to do a fake out on y'all real fast before I bounce. My only thing is characters like Neil, and what's the green-haired guy that was a part of Roman's band?
Yeah.
Roa? I kind of wish we would see them more. I like the fact that Yuga went to Roa when he lost.
Yeah.
I like that. Out of all the characters he could have went to, he went to him.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I like that. He left everybody. Nobody knew where he was. They couldn't contact him, and he went to Roa. Like, that's good because he was a major character in an arc. So it's kind of cool to see that he actually got a little bit more spotlight because of it.
It's such a shame that like I didn't resonate with the characters over the course of the early stuff. Because, like, now looking at this, like, first big chunk of the show, I can see what they were going for. Which is, like, the idea of, like, oh, look, we're gonna have, like, fun hijinks, but, like, they're friends, and, like, you're gonna care about their friendship with each other because hijinks. And then when stuff gets serious, it's their friendship that they rely on, but...
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, you really got to take this show as like shut your brain down for a minute and appreciate the fun of it all. And I think that's unfortunately the only way you can come at it. Like, I remember there's an episode, Natalie, I think you really liked it with the alien.
Oh yeah, because she was
UFO
cute,
chick.
little alien robot duelist.
Yeah, and literally the only thing that was appealing about that episode was that she was very cute. I think that's the episode where the ramen duelist.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's like if she lost, she like died or whatever.
She has to go. Yeah, she has to die and go back.
Okay, no, hold on. While we're talking about this, let's talk about
I know.
her. Hey, what
I hope she comes back.
Did we just do like a JoJo-esque like casual confirmation of aliens just existing?
Yeah.
Like a fucking filler character just rolls up and is like, yeah, I'm from space.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
How are you? Oh, I guess I gotta go back to space.
I must go now. My planet needs me. Yeah.
Like, what?
Right.
I mean, don't think about it.
It makes me hope that Rook's thing isn't that like weird disease, but that he actually has like a demon inside of him or whatever.
They played with that idea once. I think it was during the washing machine.
Yeah, that's my other problem.
Because the washing machine guy comes back.
Like, that's my other thing with Sevens is like really when you have a moment we're like, oh, this is gonna be like a legit thing. It's like, no, it turns out to be a joke. And then you're like, okay, fine, it's a joke. And then 10 episodes later, like, no, it is serious. No, wait, it is a joke. Like, it's so, like, I don't know what to think.
It's so fickle.
Because, yeah, I think they've done that twice with Luke already, with his little electric thing, so.
Well, like, the problem with the way the comedy comes off a lot of the times for me is that it makes a lot of the characters seem like jerks. I mentioned it before, but like, fuck, what's a good example? The band stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we had the band arc earlier, and then I think it was like later in the Neil stuff, there is an antagonist that is from
the band. He didn't get to duel during the concert arc, that's why.
Yeah, and it's like, ha ha ha, he didn't get to duel. But then the whole episode spins like a thing going like, oh, but like, actually, it's about fuck, what's his name?
Yeah.
Roa?
The cousin or whatever.
Roa, yeah, Roa, the green
Yeah,
guy.
Roa and the drummer dude, like, genuinely have this rift between them. And, like, they're starting to bridge that gap, and it's gonna be like, yeah, now they're friends again after the duel. But it, like, the whole thing winds up with just like actually, what about a robot drummer? Can I get a robot drummer instead of this guy? Like, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that's bad taste. Yeah, that's it. I'll say that one's in bad taste.
I find it hard to try to care about these things because I just inevitably feel like they're gonna it's just gonna be a punchline. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna get through this big duel with this big robot and this big fucking kaiju, and then we're gonna get to the end of it and it'll be like, and that was Yuga's
literally
dream. And like
the dream of the road. Yeah, like I remember even now, like the recent episode that happened during the time of this recording, obviously. This is like, you signed us up for a trumpet tournament instead of a dueling tournament. I'm like, how do you fuck that up?
Well, duet and duel are just one letter away, of course.
Like, how do you fuck that up? How in the actual fuck? Like, the only way that this could be unfortunately acceptable is because it's a comedy. And I'm just like, no. Because now you can't have us hyped for you can't gather all these characters. Some of them are relevant, I will say that. But you can't gather all these characters up for the first season, have them all pumped for this tournament that may or may happen, and then kick us in the balls with, it's a trumpet tournament. I'm like, no, Shode, you're not gonna screw us over.
There is at least a more active recurring plot now.
Well, yeah.
Which is like, I like the concept of a duel club. I feel like that concept should have been the thing that they did at the very start of the show.
Unfortunately, Rook's the captain of it, so no one's taking it, like, literally, like you said before, if anybody treated Rook in real life how they treat him in this show, it would be socially unacceptable.
Yeah, like, why would you treat your friends that way? It's so fucked up. Like, and like, the original series has Joey
and Tristan are usually punching bags, yeah.
Yeah, but like, then when shit goes down and gets serious, they're like, no, we actually got each other's backs. The power of friendship. And like, it's kiddie, of course, but like, it's a fucking kid's show. That's fine. Also, fuck it. Friendship is important.
Hot take. Yeah. Friendship is good.
Yeah. I mean, there's never been, I never feel like there's a situation that's serious enough to justify the way they treat Rook. Like, and that's not me trying to feel sorry for him, because sometimes Rook puts it upon himself how stupid he is. But there's a lot of times where I'm just like, y'all haven't had enough serious moments with Rook to justify how y'all treat him.
Well, even now.
This. There has not been a moment where he's almost drowning in the water and I gotta save him. There's not been a moment where he got beat up by a bully trying to save an ancient artifact that he bullied someone else out of.
Because even now with that most recent episode is with his sister, it's like she was like that to him, like growing up. She's like, oh, you suck. Like, what are you fighting for?
He's constantly, like, watching him duel by himself low-key made me kind of sad. Because it's just like, how bad is your life? I mean, he starts crying too, I think, in that episode. And I'm just like, damn.
I think it's right before he goes into like his mind state and duels himself.
So he has to like legitimately duel himself now to like prove his own worth, and I'm just like, fuck. That's right. And I'm like, this is really sad.
Yeah. No, it's
well, too bad the show will never touch it. rush, go, rush.
Sorry, just that theme is just the first archive opening, but worse.
I like it. It's catchy.
Or maybe it's just that I associate it with so much suffering. The episode where Rook duels himself, I thought, okay, here, let's construct the narrative arc that I went through emotionally while watching Sevens. The big maximum duel happened, right? And I went, oh my gosh, is this it? Like, have we crested the hill of comedy? Does the show actually know what the fuck, like, how to do this now? Are we gonna be having this as like a thing now? And I think like 3 or 4 episodes later now, the answer so far is no.
Nope, lols, no.
It has just immediately jumped back into what it was before.
Well, they had an episode with Yuga and this girl that was kind of cute, but too serious. Bring in the 6th grade
wig. Like maybe they'll fucking have a new opening and like a serious plot now, and it's like no,
too serious.
They won't.
Nope. That female relationship that Yuga almost had with this girl's too serious. Bring in the 6th grader that looks like a 28-year-old.
What the fuck? What the fuck was that?
And have it be about the 2 twins that hang out with Gato.
Are they traitors? Who knows? Find out in a later episode where it turns into a punchline, probably, because we don't know yet. But, like, I can't help but feel that will just wind up being, like, we betrayed you because you didn't let us draw your cards and hold your hand anymore while you were dueling, Gakuto. And it's just...
because Yuga won't love the glasses girl because she secretly likes him.
But she's evil. She's part of the evil club.
The machine cavalry or whatever called
club that is for some reason also very good at rush duels. Like, hello? Yeah, no, sorry, you completely derailed my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Because, no, I just forgot that the fucking middle-aged man who's actually a 6th grader existed. Of just, like, him being like, oh, the good old days. And, like, the characters are standing there going, what the fuck are you talking about? Maybe I'll, like, put that in as, like, a half bit that I also enjoyed. But, so, like, I was hoping that things would be more serious now, right? And the Rook episode happened. I don't know if it was the next episode after
I think it's
the maximum
episode,
stuff.
Yeah, it's the episode after.
Okay, and, like, because of his, like, inner mind duel, he winds up with a new card. And it's, like, a new, like, powerful monster.
It's Phantom Dragoons,
right? Yeah, it's like upgraded Dragoons, basically. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Is this gonna be like a thing? Is this gonna be like, are all of our characters gonna get like a new monster and it's gonna be like an important thing for them? Because I was hoping that, like, for Rook, this meant that we were getting a bit more of that, like, dark power plotline thing that he has going on. And I was like, maybe there'll be, like, something with each of the characters and we'll get, like, a bit more depth than none at all. And then the next episode happens, and it's a duel between the sushi girl and Romin, and she just has a new card.
Yeah.
Like, she just whips it out. Like, boom, here's my new monster. And they're like, oh, shit, it's your new monster. Whoa. And it's just like, oh, okay. So that fucking thought I had.
Well, they had to decide on what TV show they wanted to watch, so.
Yeah, you gotta duel each other. I really, really thought that the joke at the end of that episode was going to be that the duel took so long.
The show would be over.
Both of the things they wanted to watch.
I was hoping that
over.
too. Either that or Rook just didn't give a fuck anymore and started watching what he wanted.
But yeah, I almost wish that the maximum stuff didn't
you have
happen
expectations.
because now I have hope.
Like, you can do better. Do it.
They very temporarily let the good writers out of the Konami dungeons and then immediately put them back in. We gotta
try now. Get back in your box.
I slowly hollowed out over the course of 25 episodes. Got to the point where I was like, alright, fucking Sevens, I'm watching this for the sake of watching it. Let's see what's gonna fucking happen. It's gonna be nothing. It's gonna be a joke, and I'm gonna hollow out just a little bit more. And then, like, no, here's a good duel, and it takes itself seriously, and I'm enjoying it, and, like, big dumb robot, big dumb monster, and they're fighting on top of a building, and shit's exploding, and I'm excited, and then immediately back into, like, we got a duel over what fucking TV show to watch. Oh no, they've dug a huge Grand Canyon-esque hole around our fucking clubhouse thing out in the woods.
How did y'all not wake up during all of that? Is it because this is a joke?
Yes, that's it. Why? Because joke. That's the whole thing. That's the whole show, except for the 2 episodes.
And then we had to have the robot, Yuga's robot, argue against the Sebastian for like 30 minutes. Like, all of this stuff was conveniently placed so that, you know, our main characters can't do anything. I get it. Like, your expectations are obviously higher because we have seen better. And I think what we did was our approach was different because we lowered our expectations. Unfortunately, lowered them.
I can't.
No.
I can't turn my brain
But then
off.
then it throws us all for a loop when they actually do good episodes like that one, because now their expectations get higher. It means you can do it, but you chose not to.
You're making it bad on purpose!
So, Kalice, I can see exactly why you're upset. Like, it's a very understandable feeling. Generally, like Natalie, like you said, we poke fun at it so much that I think the level of jokes I think most of the jokes come from us when we watch this damn show. They come from us. Not the show
You're not
itself.
laughing at the show. We're
laughing like at the show, but not the way it wants you to.
Yeah. Like I remember when Neil lost the chair lost and came to Neil, and I made the comment because I was doing it in Neil's voice. I was like, "You're fired, chair. I can't stand you." Like the irony.
Even look at me.
No, the irony is that he can't stand the chair because it's a chair.
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it.
We're making jokes for the show, like
pun game strong.
And it's extra, Natalie, I don't know if you can back me up on this one. It's extra hard when we make predictions that are way higher than what
that's
actually
the thing.
happened.
You're like, oh, maybe this, and it's like, no. Every expectation just gets, they go under the bar. Like, it's not what I thought. So. Yeah.
They work very hard.
Yes.
To go
even if you think you're lowballing it, they're still away. So.
I remember there was an episode where they actually went out on a boat.
Yeah!
Dueled the guy who does boats. Duels the guy who sails the seas or whatever. Only to wind up back where they I thought they were going somewhere.
They said the whole thing where they're like, oh, we're going to be stuck out here for weeks or months. And you're like, oh, okay, so this is going to be a little mini arc and they're going to get back. Nope. They're like, oh, no, never mind. Here's a boat. you're back. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, our bicycle seat lit the way. So... We're back to where we started. Like, what? Why not leave? Leave. No one's gonna be upset. Go. Is it because, I don't know, is it because they think like it's kind of weird that children are like going out and staying out for large amounts of time? Is that why Neil does the whole go home and do your homework and go to bed thing? I'm like, hello, monsters come to life. Can we just have the plot where the kids go in the dangerous fucking...
I mean, Pokemon's over there like, hey, 10-year-old. I know that you have like barely mastered language at this point and can probably jog for like 20 minutes. Take this Pokemon and just go.
Alright, peace.
Fucking later, I'll be here if you want to come visit, but like get the fuck out of here, kid.
Right. Meanwhile, this series is so afraid of the characters actually leaving. Like this summer camp thing, I think they're actually back. Like I think they return back from it. I thought they were going to be in this camp for a bit.
I think they were maybe there for 2 episodes.
Yeah, they were there for about...
Maybe?
Yeah, they were there for the sushi stuff. For the sushi / rockstar shit.
And then there was the episode where, there was the sushi
and then there was the shovel
was the episode
stuff.
where they got... And then they got rescued by the trader. I don't fucking understand.
Yeah, but then we get the previews for the next episode and it looks like they're back at school again.
Well, yeah, they are, because then it's the duet duel, and then we go and meet Rook's sister, and ba-ba-da-ba-da.
So it's like they're so afraid to leave. Leave! One of the things I really loved about the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series was that, like, the crew went to, like, the USA, they wound up going to, like, different places, they ended up going to Egypt, and all these other cool little locales.
What's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged bit where it's like, oh, we have to go from America to America.
Yeah. They don't state where they're going.
Somewhere in California or whatever they say in the dub, like it's not even specific.
Right. So, they just, I like that. I like when characters actually leave. That was one of the reasons that while like later on in GX, it got more interesting because they actually got to leave Duel Academy. We got new settings.
Sevens doesn't feel like an adventure. Like, it's very
It's Saturday morning
stagnant.
it's Saturday morning cartoon.
But like, even the Saturday morning cartoon stuff would be like, oh, what's Skeletor's army gonna do this week? And it's like a recurring thing of like, damn you, He-Man, I'll defeat you next time. Yeah. And like, we barely even have that. Like, it's very threadbare.
I mean, I don't know if this is a problem for you too, but I've noticed it personally, where it also feels like the level of importance with Goa, the corporation they're going against, always feels like it seems to shade out based on who's in charge. I thought that Neil was a very important piece in the Goa Corporation, but it turns out he's like, what, step 1?
Well, yeah, but then he beat almost all of the higher-ups of the fucking company. Like, they got defeated off-screen. Like, I thought we were leading into a very natural cadence of, like, oh, Neil is important, but he's not one of the 6 special hexagon people. So, like, obviously we will then go on to fight them, and instead they get beaten off-screen. And, like, looking at their character designs, those are not important characters. We're never going to see them again. Like, they're gone. They got fired after that, I think.
Yeah. And I think one of the chick you're talking about, the mother, she wound up getting demoted.
Because she was assigned as part of Yuga's friend group.
They're never
gonna... such a weird...
I don't think they're gonna touch it. They put her in such an awkward position now.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's awkward. We're talking about her. Hey, was anyone else kind of like skeeved out by the fact that this like 31-year-old woman who looks like a 12-year-old was like freaking out about how awesome the like other 12 the
it's kind of
12-year-old
creepy.
pop idol boy was.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Okay. Just making sure that wasn't just me.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
Just like,
I mean, there's episodes where she literally sneaks in and like listens in on the group, and I'm like, you're an adult. Get away from these children, please. It's weird. I don't like it.
I feel like the show definitely could have had a very good like fighting against authority like through line as like a theme of like, well, fuck the rules, we made our own rules, that's the new thing. And like I might have been able to get more on board with the group if they were more like, fuck the established system, like fuck your rules, old man, but like in a actual narrative way, as opposed to just like, no, fuck you specifically. Because like if they start with the school council of like, here's the person making the rules in our immediate setting, and then you fight against him and turn him to your side, and then like you move on to like maybe to Goha, right? Because they're in charge of the card game. But like then the thing we fight with Goha is Neil, who is like a weird outsider to it, who's like, the thing is his own thing. He's over here about his providence and his crazy hacking ability and genius level inventor brain, right? And it's like, there's no traction for anything past like a few episodes. It just I feel like any random episode of this show almost, if like you swapped a new character in for one of the recurring characters, you could convince me that this was an entirely different series. Yeah. Like there's just nothing that flows from episode to episode.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Even when they have the two-parters or the important ones, they feel so subdued and isolated from the main plot. Well, main plot. They feel so isolated from the episodic episodes that you get confused on exactly what the show's trying to do. Are they trying to be this like episode? Like if you're gonna be an episode to episode Yu-Gi-Oh series, I don't even have anything against that idea. But then don't turn around and make the overarching plot of the Goa Corporation, introduce them in like the end of each episode or the beginning of an episode, and then immediately shut off that craziness, or shut it off for craziness. It's like, don't introduce the Goa Corporation and put so much emphasis on them if the next episode is going to be about digging for Jurassic fossils. Like, why? 'Cause that confuses the audience. It derails the audience and makes them believe, there's more to it than what they're presenting. And it kind of, in a way, it kind of lies to you and makes you interested in an episode that they know full well has nothing to do with anything. Don't preview this dark plot that you think is gonna happen, only to have the next episode have nothing to do with that arc, with that plot line. They introduced this one woman that likes construction trucks, or they introduced her, had her have a whole moment with Yuga, and then the next episode, there's nothing to do with her at all. Yeah, we have another construction duelist, but it's still not her. She doesn't even make an appearance in that episode. She's mentioned, but like, she's nowhere to be found. So to a person who is legit interested in this character, it almost seems like a kick in the face, because it's like, why'd you even do that then? Why'd you even bring her into view? You could have at least even had her join the others in the summer camp stuff for a little bit. And not mention that she's a bad guy until like it's crucial.
I mean, some of my favorites in moments in Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually hinge on, hey, I'm your friend.
Right.
Totally.
I am not evil.
You wanna know how long it took
20 episodes later.
I was gonna say,
actually,
you know how long
I'm
it took for them to realize Merrick was a bad guy?
Yeah.
Well, like Bakura.
Oh, yeah, Bakura.
Like, he's like, hey, I'm your friend. What's up? And it's like, actually, there's a demon in me. And then, like, the episode after that has nothing to do with the construction club at all. Like, it's just back into the very, very, very episodic, like, ba-da. And it's weird because, like, I also do not have a problem with, like, episodic style shows. I am right now, like, getting very, very into old tokusatsu stuff. So, like, Kamen Rider and Super Sentai and stuff like that. Which, if you're not familiar, is basically what got adapted into Power Rangers over here. Yeah. And that is, like, the most, like, what evil monster did the evil organization send our way? And then you cut to, like, the evil leader being like, damn you, Kamen Rider, I fucking hate you, I'm gonna kill you with this monster this week. And then they fight the monster of the week and it explodes and it's like, we had our episode plot and it's like, yay, we did it. And, like, the overarching thing is obviously they're sending the monster after me. I especially bring this up because Goha and their, like, weird design and their, like, minion uniform immediately made me think of that kind of, like, organization. Of, like, Lord Zed and the Putties and, like, that kind of thing. And I don't know if it was evocative of that on purpose, but I was like, oh, so we're gonna, like, from the start, like, before I learned what Sevens is, it was just like, oh, we're gonna be, like, fighting against all of the minions of this evil corporation, because, duh. No. I don't know.
Bring out the ramen guy.
Yeah.
Tell your joke. Good job. Go away.
Bring out the cat and dishwasher guy.
Fuck. Don't bring out the cat. Don't.
I think, you want to know what makes it so much weirder than even GX is, because GX had their weird people too. Like, there was literally
never forget the duel monkey.
Yeah, or the tennis.
Never, ever forget
the tennis
duel
guy.
monkey.
Ace, I think is his name, the tennis guy.
There's the tennis dude, and then there's the fucking Tarzan guy who just went and lived in the woods and practiced his drawing technique.
My favorite one
is drawing cards out of a waterfall.
My favorite one was Dimitri because he believed he was Yugi. That was pretty. I liked that. That was pretty. Cool.
That one was.
But you want to know what the difference is? They disappear at some point. Like, they're gone. I think with the Sevens, they legit bring these characters back, which in some ways I like because it makes it seem like, okay, so nothing here technically is wasted. But when they bring them back, they barely use them
No,
either.
like, you want continuity? Well, good news. We brought back dishwashing guy. I was like, oh, thank you. That's what I wanted.
Yeah! Like, when they bring them back, they're so irrelevant, it almost is no point.
Well, if they were well-written characters who were interesting, it would be cool.
Yeah.
Like, I remember in Dragon Ball Super, there is a part, or maybe it was Z. Yeah, it's been.
I'm a Dragon Ball buff, so just let me know and I'll be able
to. But like, it was either in the Boo arc of Z or something in Super, where it like cut all around the planet for something.
Yeah.
And it like showed a bunch of characters, some of whom were just like characters from old Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I think like Android 6 was there, and like.
It was when Goku was charging the Spirit Bomb to defeat Kid Buu.
Okay, yeah. And like, I think it showed like that winter village that Goku goes to for a while.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, stuff like that can be really cool, but you have to make people care about the characters involved. Otherwise, it's like, oh yeah, dishwashing guy, my favorite. I fucking loved him when he did the thing where he washed the dishes and cheated at the card game.
Alright.
Whereas, like, in original Duel Monsters, like, after Duelist Kingdom, anytime one of those fuckers showed up, like, fucking Rex Raptor, yes. Welcome back. Hello.
I but they were at least able to implement them into the plot. They went from being like on TV in national tournaments to being losers. So it's justifiable that they would actually get angry and use the Seal of Orichalcos to like hype them up.
Yeah. But just like before they showed up again, I cared about them.
Yeah. Right, yeah. I think what 7... Okay, so let me ask this then, Kalice. Okay. Because it's very clear that out of all of us, you have the most disdain for this series. What do you feel? What do you feel the next season needs to do in order to like catch your interest?
Fuck. I mean, so I've been in on Yu-Gi-Oh for a very long time at this point. Like, I grew up with the original series in GX and a bit of 5Ds, and I've now, like, come back and watched everything that there is. Even at, like, not to reference my own videos, but, like, obviously I wasn't fond of, say, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I think that show had problems. Even at its worst, I was, like, episode to episode still enjoying the duels for the most part. Like, even when I was, like, pulling my hair out over how, like, the problems I was having with the plot, I still enjoyed watching the card game. And by, like, limiting everything to one episode and, like, rush duels being simplistic compared to the old card game, I feel as if I've lost that part of the show for the most part. Like, the only exception to that would be the big duel against Neil. So, like, step one would be either, like, making rush duels more interesting in some way, and I mean, like, maximum summons exist, or, like, just going back to the old card game. I also had the thought, and I've had this thought about Pokemon for a while, too. I think that if this was, like, the secondary anime, like, you know how there's, like, Attack on Titan High School?
Right.
And it's, like, the joke version, where, like, ha ha ha, we're doing fun hijinks with the characters, and, like, making jokes about the franchise, and it's way, 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 way less serious, almost not serious at all, and the plot doesn't matter. I feel like if we're doing these two formats, Yu-Gi-Oh! Would, like, fit into that pretty well. Like, even if the serious one wasn't necessarily airing all the time, if we could have, like, two shows running side by side, one with rush duels that's comedy focused, and one with the older style of duels that's, like, more traditional Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
Then I would actually feel a lot better about rush duels and all of this shit, because I wouldn't, like, one of the biggest problems is that I feel not just that the show is bad, but that it is explicitly replacing something that I like.
Yeah.
So, like, that would be a potential solution, but, like, step one, get the card games back. I like running plot lines. I like the hyper serious characters. The hyper serious characters are always my favorite characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Like, Kaiba was my favorite.
Yeah, I don't think we have an actual serious character in the show.
Yeah.
Neil was the closest.
Yeah, Neil's the closest we got. And even he has a level of hilarity to him.
Yeah. Shun was my favorite character in Arc 5. Kaido was my favorite character in Zexal. And, like, especially
everybody in 5Ds,
like,
with the exception of Luna and Ruka.
Yeah, basically. But like, especially the kind of character who just, like, walks into what is otherwise a kind of light or silly situation and goes like, all right, motherfucker. Oh, sorry. All right, motherfucker, I'm serious. Like, fuck you. Fuck your nonsense. I have fun dueling. No, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Right.
I'm just like, yeah, that one. That's my boy over there. Let's go. Which, like, I don't think the show is going to have, or if it does have it, it's going to just be, like, a joke, because that's Sevens. So, like, more serious characters, a more serious plot, and the big thing is, like, please make the duels actually fun to watch.
Yeah.
I guess.
For me...
Uno Reverse on YouTube, what would you like to see?
Oh, well, you want to go first, Natalie? Okay. For me, you actually brought up a good point, Kalice. I remember when the duels were so important in the series, where I think most of the memorable moments was actually exploiting, like, the rules of the game. Like, I'll always remember when Yugi beat Strings, because he made him deck out. To me, that's, like, the most interesting, kind of hilarious, but interesting way to win a duel, because it is one of the ways you win a duel. What if you legitimately make your opponent run out of cards? You can't physically beat them because the monster they have is too powerful, so you gotta find some roundabout way to win. So Merrick's all like, whenever Revival Jam revives, the second mouth attacks the monster, which causes it to reborn, which causes me to draw 3 cards. Ye cycle continuing one after the last. And then I'm like, that's really clever. You can win a duel that way. Or like when the first rare hunter makes a deck exclusively of Exodia cards, because that's a real tactic. That is a real move you can make in the game, where what if you have someone who tries to have an automatic win by summoning Exodia? Well, what you do is that you have someone equipped with cards that can stop cards with the same name, which is what Yugi did. I like that idea. What if someone duels with the exact same deck as you? Arcana and Yugi with Dark Magician. Like, I like that idea because it can show how you get out of certain situations. And I don't think there's any Rush duel I feel that has that situation.
I would argue that the only one that does is the duel against Neil, where they both have their maximum summons.
Yeah. And I think, I will say, well, the concert one's kind of weird, because it's like, what
if your card becomes illegal mid-duel.
If you want to debate whether... that.
But, no. Like, it doesn't take itself seriously. Two of my favorite moments, you know what, I'll ask for another thing. I want the plot to become more relevant to the duels and, like, interact with them in some way. I really like when the shows do that. Two of my favorite moments from Duel Monsters were in the first season, or first arc, or however the fuck we talk about this now. The duel against Kaiba, where they're outside of the final, like, tournament area, and Kaiba is going to lose, so he gets up on like the platform and goes like, okay, Yugi, if you win, I'm going to fall off and die because I need to save my fucking brother.
Off the bridge.
I don't give a shit. Kill me or don't and give up. And then, like, that leads to the character moment of, like, Yugi struggling against the Pharaoh, which is the first time that the Pharaoh does anything that Yugi wouldn't want him to, really. And, like, that leads into a bunch of plot and character development. And then there is the duel against Joey in Battle City, where Joey is being mind controlled, and whoever loses will die. So then Yugi, like, works to get a tie so neither of them will fall in.
Yeah.
And, like, that like, those two stand out as, like, moments where it wasn't just we're playing the card game. It's like there is something happening in the story that is changing what the characters want to do within the context of the card
Now,
game.
sometimes even that gets kind of silly. I know when in Grand Championships, Yugi has to discard cards for the Castle Von Schroeder, but he has to discard half his deck, but the reason the card doesn't work anymore is because Yugi has one card left in his deck and there's nothing, one can't be cut in half, so the castle just goes
Is the Grand Championship that, like, fucking thing after the Orichalcos arc, but before the final?
Yeah, it is.
It's so that
funny.
arc is so bad.
It's bad, but
it's such a standout of, like, I know that Orichalcos is like also technically a filler arc, but like,
well, that had some weight on it
to watch. Yeah. But like that is like the most trite, conceived, like.
Well, and okay, so and if we're going back to Sevens for a minute, the big thing I think it needs to do, for me personally, don't be afraid to slow down. Like, I know the title literally says rush, rush, go, rush. But we need...
I was about to say, I was like, the moment you stopped talking, I was going to be like, rush.
I know the title, I know all that, but give us some time to lament on these characters, to focus on them, for me to marinate with them. It feels like... Remember, Natalie, when we watched that moment with Yuga and that girl? The reason it was so nice is because it wasn't like... It was at a reasonable pace. Nothing was sped up for the sake of having to get something over with. A rush duel didn't come out of pure nowhere. It was literally just them hanging out for a bit. Not everything needs to jump straight into a duel, because there have been episodes where literally a duel doesn't happen because there's build-up. I think there's literally an episode where little Yugi and Yugi talk to each other on the blimp for like a good 15 minutes before they actually go to duel Bakura. And so there's moments where the show can like just slow down and give us context first. Not everything has to be I gotta figure out what that was. Hold on. But yeah, with that being said, just slow down. I'll pass it to Natalie.
I think that's like
I'm with you on that one, Tyrone.
I don't know, because I'm thinking now, like, if say Sevens like ended or whatever, at this point, it's like, have I even like gotten anything out of it? Like, yeah, I thought the maximum summon was cool, but otherwise, I feel like there's just that feeling of, oh, I wish they did this. I hope this happens. So it's like I guess I'll keep watching, but at this point, I don't feel I've gained nearly enough for how much I've put in, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, it's a lot of,
it's like empty calorie Yu-Gi-Oh.
There's
I am watching a show, but
that's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's you did watch something.
But yeah.
I even had more fun like going through the bad parts of GX. Like, not only because of the duels themselves being interesting to watch, but also like the problems weren't just like so straightforward, I guess. Because it's not like I'm dissecting apart what the issue is necessarily. It's like, no, it's the same. It's the same thing again, and we're on another episode. And it's still yup. They're gonna bring out Sushi Girl, and she's gonna tell a sushi joke, and then fucking Romin's gonna be hungry, and she's dueling against a food person, so she's extra hungry now. Fuck, Romin, like that sushi duel. I was so upset at like the fact that Romin lost, because the fucking, there's a long running thing in Yu-Gi-Oh of the women in the series not being treated super great. Either they're like not duelists for the most part, like in the original series. Like, Taya is treated relatively well, but she's a supporting character. She doesn't get to actually play the game usually. There's Aki in 5Ds who gets like a lot of play in her arc, and then after that like becomes a secondary character to Yusei, Jack, and Crow. But like even in this, the joke show, it's like, oh, she finally gets to duel. Yeah. And she lost. Fuck. When the stakes were watching a TV show, you know, it's like not even a super important duel where it's like, oh, Romin tried her hardest. Like, no, it was just, you know. So.
Wait, I think Romin's won like what, 2 duels I think in the series so far though. One
But not the sushi duel.
Poor Gato, though. I don't think he's been in a lot of duels.
I like Gakuto. I feel bad.
I mean, the problem for me with Gakuto is that my favorite gimmick of his is the first thing he did, which is he had the two characters like drawing for him, and I was like, oh, that's a good bit, actually. That's I like that.
Right.
And then that went away after that episode. So it was just like, oh, okay. I thought he was gonna be like rolling up with his crew every time, just like, all right,
chop.
it's my time to duel.
Yeah.
Peons, get my stuff. And it would be like, yeah, but no. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, fuck it. I'll add it in. We talked about this in our predictions thing, which is I think went up. Yeah.
Let me see.
It was the one where
Yes, it did.
It was the one where we talked through all the series because you two weren't familiar. And that was
the next series discussion was actually a year ago.
Jeez. Time is scary.
Yeah. Our first impressions was Our first impressions video was 7 months ago.
They only got that many episodes out this time. I guess there was the hiatus because of yeah. I'll just throw in what would I like to see?
Yeah.
A female protagonist.
Yeah.
So she could actually win duels and be important and relevant for the entire show.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
they always come close and they always fall flat. Like, even Akiza, like, she was only important, really, like, in their first few appearances, and then afterwards she's failed to... and part of those appearances, she was an antagonist.
We talked through that a little bit while you were gone. But yeah, she's handled great for her arc. and then that arc ends. And then Crow shows up and is like, hey, I'm here to take your spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other thoughts?
I want to be positive towards Sevens. I wanted to. I wanted to. I know. But at the same time, like I said, if it weren't for Natalie and watching it with her, I would probably be in the same boat as you. I'm perfectly honest. I'm being as honest as I can. I don't know if I would be able to face this series alone.
See, it does inspire friendship. You should get together to just laugh about it. It's so meta.
Oh God. Yeah, and you get to poke fun. Yeah, you get to poke fun at it. There's been a lot of times where I feel like in most of those rush duels, they go by so quickly. One of the reasons that we don't wind up paying attention is because, like, we're talking about something that's immediately more interesting than the duel itself.
Yeah.
Like the duel action.
And then the duel's over.
Right. Or I'll just be like, that monster looks stupid. Like, they literally, I think they made a Santa Claus washing machine monster.
Okay, you know what? Fuck the monster designs in this series.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to fucking say that.
Okay, step one, Sevens Road. I hate.
I'm starting to like Sevens Road Magician. I'm sorry.
I can't fucking handle just like maybe if it wasn't 3D. Maybe if it wasn't 3D every time it showed up, that would be part of it.
When I'm looking at it, I'm mostly looking at it.
It's bad usually.
Yeah, when I'm looking at it, I'm mostly looking at its card design. I'm not looking at the fucking CGI version.
But like by far out of like the signature monsters throughout all of Yu-Gi-Oh, definitely my least favorite.
I can see that. I can see that, with the exception of obviously the maximum summon monsters.
Yeah. The archetypes are all fucking jokes. Like literally, they are jokes.
Yeah, they are.
Except for like the main characters.
You know, you want a post-apocalyptic deck, whatever the fuck that means.
Fuck, you're gonna combo me into complaints. Like, I can't. Okay. The fact that there is an entire deck dedicated to chairs. is stupid.
Rook,
they can't even stick to a cohesive theme most of the time.
Rook's sister shows up, and I'm like, what card? Oh no, she uses trumpet. Oh, this is.
See,
oh,
it's
God,
because
what?
she's a master of martial arts who is in the instrument club, and that started at least as a consistent theme of like, look, it's a martial artist using an instrument as a weapon, which I think is dumb and like very simplistic, but at least it was like an idea. And then her strongest monster is a big instrument robot. And I'm like, what? Where did you come from? What? Hello? What happened to your theme?
Yeah.
I also don't know what Yuga's theme is.
It's technically, I want to say his theme is technically attribute,
that
he's using like
is so lame.
He's using like spellcaster / attribute monsters.
My deck's archetype is the game.
Yes.
Like,
yeah,
what?
That's what it is. Because 7-Road Magician gains strength based on how many monsters of different attributes are in your graveyard, which is really gimmicky, but... So if you get all of the attributes in the graveyard, then 7-Road Magician will become stronger with each one that's placed in. That's the idea, at least. Although, from what we see from his later monsters, he's starting to change up his deck a little bit.
What the fuck was that weird water horse thing?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I don't know. That thing was very.
All I know is that it's on sale.
Over-designed. But like Yugi's theme, it took me a long time to figure out what it is, but it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. The season 1 is Dungeons and Dragons, then it gears a little bit towards Wizards and Warriors, and then I think towards the end it's mostly just summoning the god cards.
Well, yeah, but like there's still like a main core theme there. Yeah. Judi's is obviously heroes.
Jaden's like Joey's is luck. It's fucking luck.
No, fuck. I hate luck-based decks. That's just like a pet peeve.
But
of mine.
I think
fuck them for existing.
For Joey, I think it works only because he's the average schmoyo. So like to rely on a luck-based deck to keep up with like these powerful gods and corporate leaders like Kaiba and shit is actually kind of funny to me. I like that.
I like
it.
I could have I could make an entire fucking video about how I wish Joey's deck was skill based because I think it would support his arc better. But Judai does heroes. Yusei has like scrap, which makes sense because that's where he's from. In Zeal, the joke is like onomatopoeias, the like gaga and stuff that. Which is dumb, but at least it's like there. And then what's his fucking name? Yusaku. God damn. No, there's Yuya. I lost one. Yuya has like a couple of things going on, but it's mostly about like performances and circuses. And then Yusaku has like Cyburst, which is also kind of a loose one, which is like cyber monsters, basically. But like I can't even begin to, like, I guess, the elements would be the only thing that you could argue for Yugas, but I hate it. I hate it. Fuck. There was some other thing you mentioned that I wanted to complain about. I'm forgetting it now. Oh well, it's gone. I could do this for hours. I have done this for hours. This is just the entirety of my viewing experience at this point. Like I'll start up an episode of Sevens with my friend Nick, and we'll just watch, and it'll be like,
this again.
Okay, yeah. Any more thoughts from you two before we wrap up?
Not really. I don't think my opinion has changed that much since the beginning, so we'll see where we are in like another year. What happens.
Yeah.
The main reason that like I wanted to talk about this was like,
Yeah.
wow, I hate all of this except for this one shining diamond that I love.
Yeah.
That is just like
You're right.
2 episodes out of 30, a 15th of the show I enjoy.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because you keep that's the hook. It's like, oh, it's gotta get better. There's gotta be something else, and so you keep watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, you give me more.
Yeah.
I know you can. You gave me 2 good ones.
After Zexel, I
Will
have
this
to
be
at
your
least give
first
it
like you shouldn't watch in your thing of Yu-Gi-Oh videos?
Fucking it might be.
Yeah.
It's too early to make the call.
She even made one where it was like, you should probably watch Zeal.
Well, like, okay, it's because I love Zeal. Like,
Right.
I really, really
Right.
do. But there is a lot of not great to get through. And I know that, like, putting up with the mediocre to get to the great is, like, a very your mileage may vary kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay, so I can't just, like, hard recommend this to people. So, like, here, it's I recommend this, but, like, with an asterisk. I miss card game animes. They're dead now.
I mean,
I'll never have them again.
I wouldn't say dead. They're just they're in a comatose state.
They have been turned into a zombie.
Yeah, a husk of their former selves.
You fucking complete non sequitur here. Did you know that Duel Masters still exists?
Yes.
Cause, like, I was looking through Annie chart like months ago at this point, and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean? There's a new Duel Masters? What are you? What?"
I think it just didn't translate that well in America, so it died in America. But in Japan, it's still trucking.
I went looking and I couldn't like find subtitles anywhere.
Yeah.
Like people just didn't even bother.
They dropped
and
it
I was
off.
just like, wow, wow.
But
With all the terrible anime that people translate, this must either be like trash garbage or like no one cares.
But the future, the future can only do so much.
So you're holding out hope for Sevens.
I am. I believe that if we wait a bit, we'll find something that's on the same tier as the Maximum Summon episodes.
If Maximum Summons ever become like a staple rather than an occasional thing, I will at the very least have something that I'm like excited for consistently.
That's also
Natalie?
what I want, but I think I guess after almost a year, I think that's gonna be the pattern where it's like, yeah, maybe we'll get something cool every 20 or so episodes, but then the rest you're gonna enjoy your 7% of the show or whatever. That's my guess at this point. So
I hate that you're probably right. That is the realistic way to look at this. Fuck.
Yeah,
and like
curiosity.
A fool,
we have
I
to
will
stick with
continue
it.
to watch, rather than doing anything else with my time. I feel like I have to keep up with it weekly because I genuinely like. There was a time where I lapsed for like a little bit just because like life stuff was happening, and me and Nick had like 3 episodes to watch in a row, and that was fucking grueling. Like I could barely handle it. Like the concept of like having like 60 episodes to sit through. If I don't keep up with this, I don't know if I would ever be able to get through it. Like so at this point it's like nope, I gotta put my time in. I need to know it's Yu-Gi-Oh, but like This is the least damaging way
and
for me. And
it's funny because like we've been the opposite, where we tend to chunk it. Like I think we had what, like 7 episodes to catch up on one point. Like we missed a lot. Yeah.
Oh my god! I just realized that. Yeah, we didn't even watch Sevens week by week. We freaking binged like those episodes.
I think at least for me, when we watch it, it's like knowing each week I'm not like, ooh, what's gonna happen? Like I don't really care. So I'm like, yeah, I might as well get 4 of these out at one time rather than having to keep up.
Yeah, like that concert arc I keep bringing up. You want to know why I appreciate it so much more? I think we watched it all in one go. We have to wait. We watched when we came back. We watched it all in one go. I can't even imagine what would happen if you had to wait week by week for that.
I have almost consistently been watching every single episode week to week.
So you're literally getting the worst of it.
I will say, that was really exciting on the 25, 26, 27 thing. I'm looking at the appearances of the fucking maximum summons right now, so I think that's the episodes. It might be 24, 25, 26, considering I'm looking at Magnum Overroad's wiki page right now. Whatever. The duel against Neil where Yuga loses, and then like all of that stuff. Yeah. Watching that week to week was like exciting. Yeah. Because it was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. My waiting is finally paying off, and then it did for like a little bit. And then it immediately swerved back into just nothing nonsense. Ugh. Yeah. It's so is making a good show really that hard?
I mean,
is making an okay show really that hard?
I mean, when Konami wants to keep selling more toys, I in card games, I guess it is.
I mean, if you want me to buy it, it's so good, and then I probably will. Damn. Like I remember watching Arc 5, and I was so into it that I was like, Raid Raptors. I need a Raid Raptor deck. I'm getting it. I'm fucking. And I went and I bought a box of cards, and then I like went and bought individual cards, like a box of a pack box. Yeah, that's the phrase. Yeah. And then like after that, I was like, okay, well, what do I still need? And I like went on like Amazon and eBay and like tracked down every individual card that I still wanted. Like I went for it, and like they fucking got my money. I'm not gonna buy any fucking rush cards. Like, are you kidding me? Who cares? Why would I play that game?
Right. Yeah.
Glowing rave reviews for Yugioh 7s.
Is it okay?
Is it?
Yeah.
Because 15% of it is okay.
We're describing like this experience of like, how are we gonna get through the episodes? All right, I'm gonna turn my brain off. I'm gonna criticize everything. I'm gonna make my own jokes and like half pay attention to the show. It's like, and at the end of the day, it's okay. Is it? Are you sure?
It is.
Yeah, it's a show. TM. That's the tagline. Yeah.
Of all of the shows, this is certainly one.
It is a show.
Ah, fuck. Okay. Unless there's anything else we want to say, I guess we should kind of wrap up there. Yep. You two want to plug your stuff? Your social medias and your YouTubes and your Twitches and all that?
Like, it's time to drew on, like, everything. That's just what I go by, so that's it.
Yeah, didn't you have,
I made, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! DM keychains recently, so I'm currently doing, like, a little giveaway for the next couple weeks on those, so if you like some old DM characters, maybe you'll get some free stuff, but, yeah. No, that's okay.
I will try to get this up quickly, so that is still relevant.
If you want to follow me, it's TyroneTG3 on Twitch, TyroneTG3 on Twitter, and now TyroneTG3 on YouTube. I changed it to just make it shorter and easier to find, but the overall name is TyroneTheGod3 if you want to find me on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube. And you can check out my streams. I stream on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And usually on Tuesdays we're doing a Tabletop Tuesday, so we'll do anything from Pokemon TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, Uno, just lots of fun card game / board game stuff.
I can recommend some board games.
Yeah. But yeah, and then obviously if you want to look at our older videos that we did with It's Time to Drew and Kalice, you can check those out on my channel as well. We did the first impressions of Sevens 7 months ago, so you can actually check that. 7 months ago. Wow.
And if you want to see some very inaccurate predictions, we did the prediction discussion video, which
never
have I been more sad to be wrong about my low expectations for something.
Yeah.
Like,
and if you're looking for more content, Yu-Gi-Oh content on my channel, then Natalie and I knocked out all of the seasons of the original series. We did reviews on each of those seasons and part of our Duel Monsters March Marathon, so you can check that out too.
You should. I've listened to them. They're cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Well, thank you, both of you, for joining me on this very fun adventure, so I can spend even more of my life thinking and talking about Yugioh 7.
Yeah.
No, but like it was fun having you two to talk to about this.
Right.
Maybe 30 episodes from now we'll do this again. If there's
who knows, your opinion might
interesting
change.
to say.
Yeah.
Hey, it happened with Zexal, but I'm not hopeful. And yet I will continue to watch.
Yep.
And so yeah, people who listen to this, oh fuck, if this is going up on my channel, yep. I should find my list of to think. You know what? I'll edit that in later. But thank you so much for listening. Hey, if you happen to stumble across this and aren't subscribed and happen to like Yu-Gi-Oh content, I also have Yu-Gi-Oh content on my channell and will have a Yu-Gi-Oh Vrains video happening sometime in hopefully the near-ish future, but YouTube copyright stuff. But yeah, thanks for listening. Bye. This is gonna be weird.
Excellent outro.
Another outro to this outro. Yeah. But yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This has been Kalice. Thanks for watching. You can like the video, subscribe, or share this video around if you enjoyed it and want to. My Patreon exists if you'd like to support me. There's neat bonuses like access to my Discord server and the ability to listen to hours-long raw recording sessions that are kind of sort of like podcasts maybe. So feel free to go look at that if you would like to. Speaking of, big thanks to all of my current patrons like Lotta, Edith, and Sam, all of whom are really cool people. Keep loving what you love, and I'll see you next time with something else.